Jack Moore, you ready to roll? You ready? Okay, we're going to the next meeting. Okay, we're going to go on to and get started with the next meeting. Good morning, everyone. As chair of the Audit and Compliance Committee, I'd like to call this meeting to order. We have 6 agenda items that will be presented before the committee today, and other than the minutes, all 6 are for information only. So here we are at the minutes from the Audit and Compliance Committee meeting held on August 21st, 2024. Does anyone have any corrections to these minutes?
Move approval.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes from the August 21, 2024 Audit and Compliance Committee meeting are hereby approved. The first action item listed on your agenda today for presentation is item C, a report on the University of Houston System Institutional Compliance Hotline Report for the 3 months ended October 31, 2024. Mr. Sergio Leal, Chief Compliance Officer, please present your report.
Thank you, Regent King, and good morning, everyone. Today I'm presenting the Institutional Compliance Report, which details the hotline reports received during the 3-month period ending October 31st. Can we go to the next slide? Do I have? Oh, I have this here, sorry. This first slide shows a breakdown of the fraud and non-compliance hotline reports received for each institution during the months of August, September, and October 2024. On the following slide, the primary issues associated with each hotline report across all systems, universities is detailed. As you can see, the primary issues identified in the hotline reports during this 3-month period cover a broad range of areas. The categories receiving the most hotline reports related to violation of policies and procedures, academic concerns, harassment, and unethical conduct. There were 74 hotline reports in total, with 41 received for U of H, 25 received for U of H Downtown, 1 received for U of H Clear Lake, and 6 received for U of H Victoria during this period. This represented an increase in the number of reports received during the previous period, which was 60. The following several slides detail the issues reported for each of the universities, which I'll quickly scroll through. There's U of H, Clear Lake, Downtown, and for Victoria. One additional note I'd like to share with the board is that in the compliance group, we are working to automate the hotline triage process to make it more efficient. We believe that we can categorize our reports, about 70 to 80% of them, so as to save time both for the General Counsel, Phil, and myself. I'll be giving updates to Regent King in the coming months on updates on how we're making progress in that effort. That concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Leal. This item was presented for information only and no committee action is required. The next item listed today is item D, report on University of Houston System Ethics and Conflict of Interest Policies of the Board of Regents and each of the universities, fiscal year 2025. Mr. Sergio Leal, Chief Compliance Officer, please present your report.
Thank you, Regent King. This report is presented annually so that this committee may review the ethics and conflicts of interest policies of the board and each of the universities. These policies provide guidelines to avoid conflicts of interest as well as establish the ethical standards of conduct for employees in order to fulfill their responsibilities to the public in the performance of their official duties. Changes were made to certain ethics and conflicts of interest policies during the past year in order to align with revised board policies, to standardize information contained at the UH Systems 4 universities, and to incorporate feedback from the UH Systems Community Review. Additionally, the University of Houston Clear Lake retired its nepotism policy and now solely adheres to the UH System policy on nepotism. This concludes my report. Are there any questions?
No questions? Thank you, Mr. Leal. This was presented for information only. No action required. Next on our agenda is item E, report on University of Houston System Annual Fraud Prevention and Awareness Report, fiscal year 2024. Mr. Leal, please present your report.
Thank you, Regent King. As required by the Audit Committee Planner, Item 5.05, for your evaluation, this annual report summarizes management's fraud risk analysis and related risk mitigation strategies in the identification of fraud risks, the implementation of fraud prevention and detection measures, and the creation of the appropriate tone from the top. All institutions have submitted a report. The reports do coincide with the FTC's red flag rules for fraud prevention, and they are substantive in meeting the requirements of the FTC's rules. Are there any questions?
No questions? Thank you, Mr. Leal. This was presented for information only, no committee action required. Next on the agenda is item F, Report of University of Houston System Identity Theft Prevention Program, Executive Summary, Fiscal Year 2024. Mr. Leal.
Thank you, Regent King. As required by Board of Regents Policy 42.02, the following is an executive summary of all activities of the identity theft prevention programs of the component institutions. These activities are sufficient to satisfy the requirements of the FTC's red flag rules. That concludes my report. Any questions?
All right, no questions. I think we're about to move over to Mr. Hurd. So that was, again, only for information, no action. Next on the agenda is item G, Report on the University of Houston System Internal Audit Reports. Mr. Hurd.
Thank you, Regent King. There are 6 reports for your review. One on contracts over $1 million. The rest are travel and expenses, which is an annual requirement that we look at for not only the Board of Regents, but each university president and the chancellor. I have personally looked through these. I see nothing untoward or even slightly out of place for that matter. So kudos to all of you for making sure that things are kept in, and there's really nothing that rises to the discussion level of this board. The last report that I will address is one that is required annually to go to the state auditor's office. It also is nothing that rises to this level, but I did want to make you aware that it's there. That's my report.
Okay. Any questions on this? All right, well, this also is presented for information only, no action required. Next item listed on your agenda is item H, a report on the University of Houston System Internal Auditing Department Annual Report Fiscal 2024. Mr. Hurd.
Thank you. That is the report that I was referencing earlier, but I would like to draw your attention to page 89 of your material. This is a snapshot of what the Internal Auditing Department is engaged in at the moment. I would like to say that we've wrapped up recently some fairly significant issues. I'd also like to take this opportunity to say that the Board of Regents and the Chancellor have never failed to support me, especially when we were looking into ethics-related or other very difficult issues, and I appreciate that very much. As you can see, we do have a fairly full schedule going on, and you will hear from us in the future. But all the things that normally we would discuss in executive session, I have brought up and discussed with Regent King, and we agreed that it wasn't necessary this time.
Okay. Thank you. Let me see what else we got. That concludes the presentations. I might add that these two guys are doing a great job. I mean, I've been in this role now for 6 months, and they're thorough. We're glad you're here, Sergio, and we're in good hands. I'll just say that. So appreciate all the work you're doing, and look forward to continuing to automate and improve the process. So now I'd like to move to the next section listed on your agenda, the executive session. It should be noted that no executive session will be needed. Does anyone have any other further questions or comments about this committee? Okay, there being none, this meeting is adjourned.
We'll take about a 10-minute break.
I think that's the shortest we've ever managed to get.